Ty Brennan and Anita Roman.
Deadly dispute, a homicide investigation after police say a man shot his brother. We'll have more on what happened.
We stand together! We stand together! We stand together!
Plus, standing together, at least 15,000 people gathered near our state capitol to advocate for gun law changes. We'll have more on the message they were trying to send. Also in Money Watch, will people spend extra for the upcoming Easter holiday? Just how much that Easter basket could cost you. Good Sunday morning, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in and spending your morning with me and keeping me company. I certainly do appreciate it. Ty has the weekend off. We have a lot of news to get to, but first, let's take a look outside. A stunning view outside of our South Mountain Tower cam. The temperature is currently 55 degrees, just a little breezy out there for you this morning. Winds coming in from the east at 7 miles per hour. This is how your day will unfold. We're looking for a high of 74 degrees, a bit cooler than it was yesterday, mostly sunny, 68 degrees at noon, 72 at noon. We're looking for a low of 50 degrees in the overnight hours. At 6:01 this Sunday morning, we have a Fox 10 News alert for you. Crews from the Phoenix Fire Department responding to a house fire near 19th Avenue and Bethany Home Road. Marcy Jones live at the scene with the very latest on what's happening. Marcy.
That's right, Anita. Well, as you can see behind me, the flashing lights and the caution tape up. Usually this is a sign of a horrific tragedy, but thankfully today, silver lining here, we know that nobody is hurt. Now, here's what we're hearing so far from crews that responded. They reported to a small house fire. Nobody was trapped, and at this time, they're still extinguishing the hot spots. Now, a crisis response team will be assisting the residents of that home later today to help them figure out the plan for kind of the rest of the week and how to kind of get back on their feet. Now, the fire will be under investigation, which is standard for this type of incident. And of course, this is just a few hours after it started. So really the cause of it, what sparked it, where it all started, that's still being under investigation. But at this time, that's the latest out here. As soon as we get any more information, we'll bring that to you. Anita?
All right, great job out there, Marcy. Do appreciate it. Also new this morning, a homicide investigation is underway in Phoenix. Police say it all apparently began with a dispute between brothers. According to police, the brothers, both in their 60s, began arguing inside a home near 28th Street and McDowell Road when things turned violent. They ended with one brother shooting the other. The victim rushed to the hospital where police say he died. Officers have the shooter in custody while they continue to investigate what exactly happened. Westbound I-10 near Courtside is reopened this morning after a deadly wrong-way crash. 3 people were killed when a wrong-way driver collided with their vehicle. Investigators say the wrong-way driver entered the freeway from an exit ramp and then collided head-on with that other car. The wrong-way driver was taken to the hospital. No word on the extent of that person's injuries. A 14-mile stretch of the freeway was closed for most of Saturday because of the collision. A fast-moving fire damages a home near 85th Avenue and Virginia, this in Phoenix. The fire started just around 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Firefighters from Phoenix, Tullison, Avondale, and Glendale all worked together to put those flames out. Quite a fire out there. Firefighters say it appears the fire started in the garage and then moved through the walls, spreading to the attic. The 3 people who lived there were not home at the time. Good news. The cause remains under investigation. We have a Fox 10 follow-up for you this morning. A Phoenix police officer is recovering from injuries he received while trying to break up a fight between 2 men. It happened Friday night near 19th Avenue in Camelback. That's video of the scene there. One of the men pushed the officer, causing his arm to go through the window of a car. That officer was taken to the hospital. We're told that he had to have surgery to remove glass and debris from his arm. 2 suspects were taken into custody but released because the officer was unable to identify them. A Glendale police sergeant who was shot on duty while trying to arrest a fugitive earlier this month has been readmitted to the hospital. And now the community is coming together to show their support for Sergeant Kent Livingston. Earlier this month, Sergeant Kent Livingston was wounded in a shootout with a fugitive. He spent 3 weeks in the hospital, but just days after being released, he was readmitted for further treatment. Yesterday, a fundraiser was held for the sergeant, West Valley Cabela's.
We're really out here trying to raise funds for him, for his family, to make them whole again.
If you'd like to donate to the cause, we have posted a link on our website, fox10phoenix.com. A mishap at a Scottsdale airport yesterday morning. A small aircraft veered off the runway. Fire crews helped move that plane off the runway. The incident happened just around 9:30 yesterday morning, forcing the airport to close for about an hour until the plane was moved out of the way. No one was hurt in the incident. 6:05 this Sunday morning, thousands of people gathered at the state capitol yesterday, joining a million more participating in hundreds of concurrent marches across the U.S. They were protesting gun violence in schools, calling for a change in gun control laws. The event was organized by local high school students. The crowd listened to about an hour of speeches before setting out on a march to and from a point about halfway from the Capitol to the heart of downtown Phoenix. Shooting survivors also attending yesterday's march. They were wearing orange buttons. Jennifer Lungden says she was paralyzed after being shot in a random shooting in the Valley 13 years ago.
I'm a survivor of gun violence and I'm a gun owner. So I believe in common sense gun solutions that protect the Second Amendment. We're not trying to take away anybody's guns, but there are weapons that don't belong in civilian hands.
According to the Arizona Department of Public Safety, about 15,000 people attended. No arrests have been reported.
Welcome to the revolution.
Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., survivors of the massacre at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School made their way to the nation's capital in an effort to put an end to gun violence, making their message loud and clear. Coming up in 30 minutes, we hear more reaction from those survivors. And happening tomorrow in the West Valley, Glendale High School's beefing up security. It comes as a result of the Parkland school shooting last month, followed by the Maryland shooting earlier this week. City leaders in Glendale holding a press conference on Friday addressing a plan that would heighten safety in Glendale high schools. The city says there's an urgent need for more school resource officers to protect students from violence. Right now, only 4 of the 9 high schools in Glendale have what are called SROs on campus. They hope to also add SROs to all elementary and middle schools in Glendale by the next fiscal year. In the meantime, a Pennsylvania school district says it's arming students with rocks against a possible school shooter. The superintendent says the students are getting active shooter training. It includes lessons on how to barricade doors, distract a potential shooter, and part of their safety plan, each classroom is getting a 5-gallon bucket of river stones. If a shooter manages to enter the classroom, they'll face a room full of students ready to stone them.
At one time, I just had the idea of river stone. They're the right size for hands. You can throw them very hard, and they will create or cause pain, which can distract.
Well, the superintendent says the rocks are only meant as a last resort. Closer to home this Sunday morning, after months of rehearsing, more than a dozen inmates at the Estrella jail put on a very special performance Saturday evening. It's all part of a program called ASU Gamage Journey Home, which aims to help incarcerated women make positive choices as they move forward in life. The program allows women to perform their very own choreography, display their visual arts, and share their creative writing, such as poetry and short stories. More than a dozen women had their chance to perform in front of nearly 50 community members and jail administrators.
When we came in to do the performance, I didn't feel like I was wearing orange.
Because of my past, my history, or because I'm wearing orange now, it doesn't define who I am.
Because we felt like human beings.
A Journey Home is conducted by local theater storytelling artist Fatima Halim of Life Paradigms and administered in collaboration with ASU Gamage. Oh, the leader of Google's self-driving car program says he is confident in Waymo's technology and capability to interact with pedestrians. His remark made in response to the fatal crash involving a self-driving Uber car in Tempe. The CEO of Waymo speaking at the National Automobile Dealers Association convention in Las Vegas yesterday. CEO John Krafchick says the company is dedicated to making this technology safe. Uber has suspended its driverless car program after 49-year-old Elaine Herzberg was killed last weekend. This is video of that incident that was released just days ago while walking her bike across Mill Avenue. Waymo is currently testing self-driving cars in Chandler. A dry winter means Lake Mead's water levels will likely drop, but thankfully not enough to trigger an emergency shortage declaration that would force water cutbacks in Nevada and right here in Arizona. The U.S. Bureau of Reclamation expects the lakes to fall as much as 11 feet by the end of the year. That's about 2 feet above the trigger level. The river system supplies Las Vegas area with 90% of its drinking water. On to Money Watch this morning. With Easter just 1 week away, you might want to get your wallet ready. The National Retail Federation is predicting consumers will spend roughly $18.2 billion on Easter this year. That's slightly down from last year, but still the second highest amount on record. The average shopper will spend $150 on Easter gifts per person, and they say men are likely to spend about $20 more on Easter gifts than women are. Candy, food, clothing, and greeting cards will be the most popular choices. And check out this adorable video. A baby orangutan at the Phoenix Zoo absolutely mesmerized by visitors' yo-yo tricks. That's Jiwa. We know him well, the orangutan, watching closely as this boy from Chandler demonstrates his yo-yo skills. Jiwa must have been pretty impressed. You can see him throwing his arms up into the air a few times, tumbling backwards. Amazed by that trick that he is seeing. Good time had by both. Up next, well, it might be time to make room in your heart and your home for a forever friend. Foothills Animal Rescue in studio this morning with a pup that is sure to impress. Plus, keeping kids safe in schools. The governor issuing his school safety plan, and police release dash cam video of that self-driving Uber car that hit and killed a woman. Your weekend review is coming up after your full forecast.